What is up, my friends? It is Saturday night. It is the evening before the Reds game against Brentford. Then we break for the international break. So, hopefully, we get the result tomorrow. Results today, did they go in our favour? Yeah, I'd say they did overall. United won, obviously. Newcastle beaten 2-0 by Bournemouth, which, again plays into our advantage. And of course, we've seen Spurs capitulate late on against Wolves to lose by 2-1. So a win tomorrow, that pushes us nicely up the table. So are we going to do it? I guess that's what tonight's stream is about. We know Jurgen Klopp has a massive selection headache tomorrow. And not for the right reasons, not for the good reasons, because, well, between suspensions, illnesses and injuries, we're a little bit threadbare in midfield. So, yeah, we good? Craig's late. I know, mate, but I do have a life and a family. And sometimes, people need to lift somewhere, or I have last minute things to do, and my family will always come ahead of everything else. So if I am ever late, it's only by a couple of minutes, but yeah. So I apologise for being late, but I'll always try my best to be here as soon as I can. Right, how we doing? How we having a Saturdays? Nice? Good? We enjoying ourselves? Are you ready for the fuckery tomorrow from Paul Tierney, who is the referee for tomorrow's game? So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already expecting some form of shenanigans tomorrow from Mr. Tierney, who, let's be honest, he doesn't get on with Klopp very much, does he? They're not what we'd call besties anyway. So, on tomorrow, and on the team selections, I want to know how you guys are feeling. Like, you've seen the preview, or at least I hope you had a look at the preview. So, that's my thoughts on the game. Now, we still await news on Virgil van Dijk and if he's going to have recovered from his illness. But other than that, it's slim pickings for Kloppo at the minute. We're gonna have to make it work, because it is so important that we leave tomorrow and go off to the international break with those 3 points. We can't drop points. It's that simple. We just can't. Mark, thank you for gifting a membership, mate. Appreciate that. Is Ryan fit? So there is some conversation that maybe Gravenberch will be fit enough to be on the bench. I did read something, I think it was on the Echo's live blog or something earlier on. There was a little bit of a mention that maybe Gravenberch could make it. Maybe he could get in. Sell Dominic. Oh, you're just getting banned, mate. I don't have time for stupidity. I don't. Just take your stupidity elsewhere. Sell Dominic. Yeah, that's it, mate. We'll sell the lad who we just bought for 60 million because he's looked tired for a week and a half. Grow up. Colin, hello, you beautiful SOB. Glad to be here today. Enjoyed my Saturday home with my family. I can't lie. How are you today, Mr. Holden? I'm good. I'm excited for tomorrow. And then I'm dreading the international break, Colin. But the good news on the international break front is this will be the last one until March time, so we don't have to have another broken up month for a good few months now. So all good to go. Why do you get so mad? Because I don't deal well with stupidity, Hayden. It's pretty simple. If you're an idiot, take your idiocy elsewhere. I have no time for you, mate. And you can fuck off as well, Hayden. I mean, have you just met me, guys? I'm not here to be, a Pied Piper of stupidity. I'm here to have a decent conversation and enjoy myself, not listen to idiots say sell Dominic Szoboszlai. I don't know where to go with that. It's not a rational statement to make. So, what would you like me to do? You either want me to read the comments, which will involve me reading some comments from morons occasionally, or I can just ignore everybody and talk for an hour and a half about what I want to talk about. I like the interaction, but, I'm a human being. Sometimes I don't like what I see and I call people out. All good, bud. All good. So, tomorrow in midfield, it looks like, unless Gravenberch does recover, we're going to see Szoboszlai, Elliott and Endo. I mean, has anybody got any other suggestions for what we could maybe do in midfield tomorrow? Because I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is slim pickings. We've gone from having a cast of thousands in midfield and all feeling really upbeat and positive, which we should, of course, because the rebuild's gone pretty well. But for various reasons, yeah, tomorrow we don't really have that many options. So you say Trent, that's a decent shout, my man. You say Trent, but here's my quandary with that, right? If we move Trent into midfield, it means we're putting Gomez at right back. And if we put Gomez at right back, it means we're probably having to put Costas at left back. And that's where I get a little bit concerned. So, I don't know, maybe we could go Trent in midfield, Gomez at right back and Chambers at left back. We could do that maybe. I can't lie. I'm trying to find a way with the team selection to make sure Costas isn't in it. I can't even lie to you. That's what all I've been thinking about with my team selection so far. Kwanzaa at left back could be a shout. That could be a shout. United flaw. Somebody mentioned that the other day, and I feel more comfortable with that. And do you know what? It could be a very good shout. We spoke about this a little bit the other day. If you have Jarrell Kwanzaa at left back, and then let's say Trent stays at the right back, or even if it's Gomez, and then he inverts in beside Trent in midfield, a back three of Kwanzaa on the left, Van Dijk to the centre, and Kanade on the right, I think that could cope. It could be a very interesting show. So I guess we could put this to polls and have a conversation about it and see which one you guys go with. Do you know what? You've convinced me. That's it now. I'm done. I'm convinced. You've convinced me. It's Kwanzaa at left back. Yeah, I'm won over. You've charmed me. What do you think about Kwanzaa as a CDM? No, let's not be doing that just yet. You know, Matip. If we were putting a CDM in, Matip would probably have been my centre back to move forward if we were looking for one. But I don't know. This Kwanzaa left back idea could be a belter. You know. Yeah, because we do shift to a back three when Trent or the right back inverts and goes in. We have that 3-box-3 midfield. So, I think that's certainly the most intriguing of the options. Curtis at right back. Yeah, the problem with that is he's not available. Unfortunately, if we had Curtis Jones available, this conversation would have been pretty much straightforward. Probably have seen Curtis in the 6th, as Klopp has done previously. But unfortunately, we won't have Curtis available. Who was that? Which gentleman was that said that? Was it Hamza? Sorry, bud, I'm trying to find out your comment again. Where was it? Yes, Hamza. Yeah, he's not available, dude, unfortunately, until after the international break. So, no Curtis Jones. Archie Gray thoughts. The kid from Leeds. I don't know. It sounds mad when you say, are Liverpool going to drop 40 million quid on a 17-year-old midfielder? But then again, it could be genius. You know, I know he's been around that Leeds first team since he's been about 15. I think it was when he was about 15 he came through. But I don't know, man. I don't know. 40 million for a kid seems a lot, but it's one of those things. It could turn out to be genius. It could turn out to be the height of stupidity. But there must be something about the kid if Liverpool are willing to put in that much money. What do I think about Spurs? Very surprised to see them drop those points today. And look, I know it was a very late show from Wolves and Gary O'Neill to get the victory. I think, did Spurs go ahead like really early in that game? 3 minutes in, something like that. And then 2 goals in 94th and 97th minute, something like that for Wolves. So, yeah, look, we got some results going our way. This is the I told you so moment, by the way. So, you know, brace yourselves for a little bit of arrogance for a second. I told you all about Newcastle. Everybody told me I was an idiot, but I said Newcastle will come unstuck with 2 games a week because Eddie Howe is a great first 11 and he deserves what he's had with Newcastle. They've been really good. But I just had a sneaking suspicion this season with them having Champions League football and them not being used to 2 games a week, that with that squad that, you know, it's not as strong when you go away from the first 11, that it will eventually start to catch up with them. And you've seen that today. They were beaten midweek by Borussia Dortmund, and today they look leggy against a far more sharp and at it Bournemouth team. So I told you so. And look, it's not rocket science. I just had a feeling. People kept talking about Newcastle being right up the top of the league this year. I just didn't see it because this is new to them, you know. You've got the excitement initially, and the home games in St James's Park in Champions League will be brilliant. But yeah, they never thought they were going to be top 4 this year. No, it's not over yet, but that was just my view. 2 players you would want Liverpool to bring in January. Andre. Who's this? Arthav. Andre, buddy. And, you know, I've never really thought we'd bring in 2. And that's the truth. I thought Andre or a number 6 is a must for the winter window. But I didn't really think we were going to bring in anybody else. So if we brought in a number 6, man, I gotta say, I'd be more than happy. Do you think Klopp can transform Calvin Phillips? So, a couple of things on Calvin Phillips that don't make sense to me. One, why would Manchester City loan him to a rival? So whether that's us, Newcastle, or any other team, Arsenal, anyone who's been linked with a DM, don't understand why they do that. Secondly, I don't want them. And I don't know who it is that keeps linking us with Calvin Phillips, but I know TalkSport are banging the drum again. It's just, it feels like a sticking plaster rather than a solution. We don't need a 27, 28-year-old to come in. We need somebody in their early 20s, somebody with their career ahead of them, and we need to invest that money rather than looking for sticking plasters. That's my take on Calvin Phillips. But could Klopp transform him? Well, look, he's better than he's been able to show so far at Manchester City. And he would probably be better than Endo. Certainly more suited to the role than Alexis McAllister. But is that enough to say yes to buying him? I don't know. I'd rather we just spend the money on Andre myself. If we're short in midfield, I hope Klopp goes 4-2-4. Could do. I can see where you're going. But look, 4-2-4s, 3-box-3s, it's all a variation of whether you have one player dropping a bit deep or not. You know, whether you have Gakpo, let's say, linking up play from midfield, which we could see tomorrow. Maybe Klopp wants to. But who do you drop back? If you go 4-2-4, we don't really have two players that can fulfill that role. Like, we don't have a Caicedo and an Enzo, as an example. We need a bloody miracle, said Kenneth. I don't think we're there yet, my man. I mean, does anybody else have the feeling that tomorrow's a really important game for me? Because, you know, we've had a bit of a wobble. We have. You know, we weren't great away at Toulouse. You look at the results before the last international break as well. We lost to Spurs, then we had that draw with Brighton. I just feel like we need to get over the line tomorrow. You know, come hell or high water, whether it's pretty or not, we need to get those 3 points. And if we can do that, you know, with the window then coming in, you're about 6 weeks away from the window opening. Hopefully you start to get players back. Look, after the international break, we should definitely have Gravenberch back. We should definitely have Jones back. And do you know what? I'm getting a bit frustrated with the lack of information on Bajcetic, because we don't really know, do we? What's going on there? Is Gakpo a bit wasted in midfield? It's a tough one. It is. It's a tough one because Gakpo can do a lot in midfield, linking that play. And I think he's the best in our team at doing it. At coming into midfield, receiving the ball, even with his back to goal, turning a player and breaking. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, Gravenberch is equally as good at that. But Gakpo's got that, I don't know what it is, that style, that languid style, technically very good, strong. And yeah, he probably is more suited to playing in behind a front three. But I fully expect us to see Salah, Darwin and Lucho tomorrow. Anything else would really surprise me. Spurs drop points, we must win. And Newcastle, mate, don't forget Newcastle. United had I heard a stat actually from Ben earlier on that said Manchester United are the form team in the Premier League in the last 5 games. And apparently it's true. Yeah, apparently, weirdly, that's true. Every game's important. These lot know they need to win. Robertson next year as well. Yeah, well, look. Robbo's a huge miss for us at the minute. We very much need Andy Robertson back, but we kind of know we're looking down late December, early January probably for Robbo. I'm hoping we see Harvey without silly mistakes and ball losing. I don't get this. Can I just fight Harvey's corner for a minute here? Look at his last few games he's played in. Harvey Elliott has been one of the standout players in the Liverpool shirt when he's been on the pitch recently. Stats back it up. I think the eye test backs it up. The journalists are certainly backing it up. Elliott was probably one of the few players who left France with any type of credit from that performance. So, I mean, I think we need to be a little bit more open on Elliott. Like, some people have closed minds on him, and I get it. I do get it. I've had players at Liverpool who I've somewhat had a closed mind on before, but Elliott he's getting better. That's all I can say. He's getting better. Embuemo and Visa, two players that can cause us problems, said Pyra. Yeah. Look, whatever happens tomorrow, even if we had our best 11 out, Brentford's not an easy game. You know Thomas Frank is going to have them physical, pressing. They're going to overload at the back post. They're going to cause us problems. They are, because they're a decent side. So, yeah, even with the best 11, I wouldn't have been expecting a walkover tomorrow or anything like it. Craig, I love Elliott. He's really good, but he's better as a sub. And that's fair. I think that's fair. I wouldn't have Elliott in the strongest Liverpool 11. I think, I've got to be honest about that. But I think some people, and I'm not accusing anyone in particular here in the chat, but I think some people, they just have an agenda against Elliott at the moment, and nothing that he does seems to be able to convince a certain section that he's good enough. So Ahmed says, sell Chimicus, he's not good enough. There's the first poll of the night, I think, because I kind of agree with you, my man. So I'm going to put up a first poll of the night. So I'm going to ask you, Costas, keep or sell? Simple as. Now, think of the summer. I don't think it's going to happen in January. Of course, we're not going to sell a left back in January. But in the summer, what do you think? Keep or sell when Robbo's back? Uhoy said, I don't get the agenda. As soon as we signed him and he started playing, there was a load of people in our fan base who immediately said he's championship level at best and were unwilling. Now, you know what? For the longest time, I was probably extremely critical of Curtis Jones, as I'm sure you're aware. But, say what you want about me and my opinions. I'm not afraid to put my hands up if I think I'm wrong on something, or if I've not given somebody the credit they deserved. And Curtis Jones, he rammed that back down a lot of our throats and has become very much deserving of a spot in this Liverpool team. And I think Elliott has gone in the right direction as well. His pressing, his pass completion stats, his accurate, it's all there. He's thrown in a couple of assists, or a few assists this season as well. He's just, if I could put one word on Elliott, it would be efficient. That would probably be the word I'd use for Harvey Elliott, efficient. Craig, I'm very sad. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I hope life gives you something to smile about soon. Yes, Curtis and Elliott are made to be stars, said he. I'm happy for Joe Gomez. He's definitely redeeming himself. Yeah, solid. Joe's been solid. I think that's a fair shout. So, yeah, I think Joe has to play tomorrow. Whether that's on right side of the defence with somebody else on the left and Trent in midfield, or whether Joe plays at left back tomorrow and Trent's at right back. I do agree. As of right now, I think he needs to play. What about Costas in the CDM? He can't defend. So, that has to be one of the weirdest shouts I've heard. Costas playing in the central defensive midfield role. He can't defend. I don't get that one, man. I don't get it. Craig, wear the red and white Adidas shirt tomorrow. No, I'll be wearing a red and white Adidas hoodie tomorrow. Red and white Adidas hoodie will be the one tomorrow. I have it ready for the game and all already. Craig, you're my favourite YouTuber, thank you. Still feels weird being called a YouTuber, but I guess I am. But it still feels a little bit weird. Tomorrow's game is a must-win, full stop. Yes, Jared, I agree. I think it is. I'm a bit frustrated at the minute as a Liverpool fan because there's been some very silly points thrown away. The Luton Town game. I've said all week, I'm not so fussed about Toulouse because I still think we topped that group easily, but I'm frustrated about that Luton draw, and I can't lie, I still haven't let go of the Spurs game either. That still wrangles me. Do you think they should sell Kelleher? Ooh, good question. I'm not as confident in Queevy and Kelleher as I was. I think that's the fairest I can be. The games we've seen him start in the League Cup and the Europa League, I feel like we wouldn't have conceded some of those goals if Alisson was in net. And I don't know. I really don't know what the best answer is. I think it'll come down to Kelleher. Like, on the face of it, we have Alisson and he's available. Klopp's just choosing to give Queeveen the League Cup and the Europa League group stages, which I totally understand. But I can't say I haven't stepped back a little bit from my insistence that he was definitely good enough. There's been some signs recently that he's just not as confident, perhaps. Would I take Partey at Liverpool? I can't give you the answer I want to give you. You know where I'm going with this. Let's just say I don't think Thomas Partey is the right fit for Liverpool Football Club from a number of reasons. So I would say no, I would not take Thomas Partey at Liverpool. Callum said, wow, you guys have been awesome today with super chats. Bang, bang, bang. I was expecting a quiet stream. Thank you so much. Putting a smile on my very frustrated face. It's a shame we never seem to scrape 1-0 wins. Being defensively well, we either concede or win comfortably. That's what wins you titles. Yeah, look, go back to that title winning season and there was many 1-goal victories. And back then, do you know what? I didn't even feel like we were going to concede a lot of the time. I feel like going in and doing my predictions for these games recently, I don't know if there's been many I've done without conceding a goal. So even tomorrow I said 2-1 win Liverpool. So I'm with you, Callum. We do need to be defensively better. But I also do think that it's obvious, but a defensive midfielder will make that a little bit better for us. I'm going to subscribe. So I was one of your favourite YouTubers a minute ago, and now you're subscribing. People see where I get confused. Craig, you're one of my favourite YouTubers. Thank you, mate. That means a lot to me. I'm going to subscribe. I would have hoped that was done, my man. Gotta love the Spurs downfall, said Jake. I mean, it's Spurs, Jake. It's not to be unexpected. Look, Ange Postecoglou has done a brilliant job since going into Spurs. Like, brilliant. But I think we all felt there was a wobble in Spurs when they picked up an injury or two. So now they know that they've got no James Maddison and no Mickey van de Ven until the new year. So this period now for Spurs, between now and the turn of the new year, it's going to make or break their entire season. I don't know their fixtures off the top of my head, but there's no part of me that thought they were going to lose to Wolves today. None. Mesut Ozil or Alexis Sanchez? I think somebody asked me this a week or two ago. I would say Alexis Sanchez. Or Alexis Sanchez. But I'll never get over that we didn't get him at Liverpool when Suarez left. I'll never get over that. I think it's plugged top of the league, or maybe he could become a member. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, do check out Top of the League though. Myself and Adam did our very first ever stream together yesterday. We talked about VAR and stuff like that. And tomorrow, after our game, myself and Adam are going to be on Top of the League for a watch along of the Chelsea-Manchester City game. Adam's going to start the coverage at 4 o'clock. Then when I do my match reaction, I'm going to jump in as well to join Adam just before kick-off tomorrow. So you'll have both of us for that one. And I'm very excited for it. I really enjoyed the stream with Adam the other day. Do you think Liverpool will go back for Decore? I've not seen anything to suggest we would, Mido. You know, I'm a bit pig-headed, buddy. I've got to be honest with you. In my mind, I'm almost refusing to accept that Liverpool might not go and sign Andre. So we're going to leave the poll open on Costas for a little bit longer because I genuinely want to get as many opinions on this as I can. I want to read you guys out something now that two things that I got earlier on that I wanted to read out to you. So bear with me for a second, and I'll read this one out to you. So I'm sure that you guys probably know who Ian Graham is, right? He was Liverpool's former head of statistical analysis. So he's been speaking in an interview with ESPN about his time at Liverpool and about working under FSG. And this is what he had to say. I found this quite interesting. He said, "Our approach is inbuilt in American sports culture. And the reason we were allowed to develop our approach at Liverpool was because we had baseball owners. It's absolutely driven by Americans who seem to want more evidence-based decision making and more information about how their team's doing. I think the American money that comes in is more business money or private equity money as opposed to traditional billionaire who might just want to run the club because it's something fun to do with their money. In that case, you might want to run it rationally. Running a business is quite boring in many aspects. A lot of the decisions we had to make at Liverpool were quite boring, and it would have been much more fun to do something else to sign players like Chelsea have, for example. The American investment seems more focused on what return on our investment will we get, and not even what's our return on investment. FSG were always happy to invest into the club, but the club had to live within its means live within its means in the way that a Middle Eastern money-backed club doesn't." So, very complimentary of the model and the freedom that he got under FSG. And he said also, to just read on into the interview a bit more and give you guys more of a synopsis on it, he said that every other club he spoke to, whether they're Premier League clubs or not, were all just wanting him to go replicate what he did at Liverpool. And Ian Graham said he's a Liverpool fan growing up, so it had no interest to him. You know, he'd lived his dream. He worked at Liverpool, the club he supported. And now he has that new company that Michael Edwards and himself are working as consultants to other sports teams around the world. So, Florian Wirtz. Have I got your attention now? I thought I might have. Florian Wirtz. Facajes have been speaking recently about Florian Wirtz and linking him to many clubs. Liverpool, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Real Madrid. But, however, Liverpool's willingness to part with a substantial fee is reported. The fee that apparently clubs are looking for, or Leverkusen are looking for Florian Wirtz, is £80 million. 80 million. So about €100 million is apparently the number if anybody wants to come in and buy Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. Which transfer window under Klopp do you think was the most influential? It's hard to know whether you go with the winter window where we brought in Van Dijk. Leave that one with me. I'm going to come back to that. Craig, you saw we aren't looking at Andre anymore. Honestly, I don't know what to make of that, Capello. I don't know what to make of it because you've got a mixed response here. Some outlets are saying that Liverpool have no desire to bring in a number 6 at all, be it Andre or somebody else. But then you've got a mixture of other people saying Liverpool are definitely still interested in Andre and that they've been quoted €35 million. But there's one that I read yesterday, and I think it was an interview from Dave O.C. Kopp with a Brazilian journalist where he said the Fluminense are getting a bit frustrated with Liverpool. That confused me because they were the ones that didn't want to sell, so I don't know what more they expected Liverpool to do when they wouldn't sell. And now that he is on the market, I guess maybe they're frustrated that Liverpool aren't forthcoming with the offer they thought was coming. It seems that Fulham right now are the club pushing most, but I did see that Serie A interest in him has ramped up. So I told you guys the other week that Napoli were looking at him, are interested in Andre. Well, now Juventus have come to the table as well, apparently, because they've got the guy that's been suspended for the betting breaches. And again, though, I say the same thing. They can compete with Liverpool. If Liverpool want Andre, I don't see how we don't get him. But the question is, do we want Andre? I don't know at this moment in time. I believe we do. I was told we do. But until we hear otherwise, we're kind of in, no man's land at the minute, just waiting to see. So, where am I going with this? To try and tie this up in my head. For me, if Liverpool don't bring in a number 6 in January, I feel like it's almost allowing another season to pass, which we had last year. And I think it's going to be the difference between us realistically mounting a title challenge and trying to win the Europa League or not. Look, Bajcetic can come back in, but nothing to say he's not going to pick up another knock, right? He's had a few knocks, so if Bajcetic comes back in, are we going to get the rest of the season out of him? Because we know McAllister in the 6 isn't working. We know so far with Endo isn't really up to it. Thiago is, well, still injured. It has to be. I just can't see a world where we don't. It would just be silliness if we don't go out and bring in the number 6. Brian, wow. Didn't see that one, Brian. How are we? Brian gifting 20 Anfield Agenda memberships. Mr. LFC USA. Thank you, buddy. I was only thinking about you earlier on, actually. I was reading through my messages and was just thinking, oh, I must catch up with Brian soon. There you go. Thank you so much, mate. Should have bought one already. Yes, sir. I agree, Paul. Look, we were sold a vision of Endo by the manager. And we were given glowing references from Stuttgart fans and German football journalists and stuff. But we haven't seen the Endo that we thought we were getting yet. And, you know, window closed in August, end of August, start of September. We're now in November. That's a pretty long time to settle in. And I'm not seeing it. As much as I want to see it, as much as I'd love to have sat here and said, genius, masterstroke by Klopp, bringing in somebody at 30 years of age for a reasonable fee, and it gives us time and breathing room to sort out a longer term option. Unfortunately, that's not been the case, has it? Have you seen Tyler Morton at Hull City? Could he possibly come back in January? So, I don't know if there's any... Who asked this one? Super556. Thank you for the question, my man. And I love that you're looking out for the players that are out on loan. I don't know if there's any option to bring him back. I don't know if there's a clause in that contract. But also, it feels like another stick and plaster, right? It feels like we're constantly looking for a cheap or temporary fixes. The answer to this conundrum is to go out there and bring in a long-term solution. Like the money we laid down and we're trying to get for Caicedo or Lavia, which of course didn't work out either. I don't see how we are there and very clearly looking for somebody in that position to this lately where there's talk that, oh sure, we're alright. We don't want to block the pathway for Bajcetic. I don't buy it. I don't. Soberslow's been bad for the last 3 games. Again, I can't push back against that. He hasn't been his best for the past few games. I think all of us in the chat would probably feel that that's a fair statement. Now, we all expect him to get back to where he was because we know how good Szoboszlai is. But I think that's a fair comment. We haven't seen the best of him in the last few games. He looks tired all of a sudden, which is strange. Archie Gray. So we spoke about him already on the stream, the kid from Leeds. Lots of talk that Liverpool are going to look to put in a £40 million bid for him in the summer. As I said earlier on, it could be a masterstroke or it could end up looking like a very expensive mistake. I'm not the one to give you the answer on that. But I like the idea of Liverpool bringing in the best talent. But we also have to have some here and now players. So, you know, we've got our Ramsey for the future. We've got Conor Bradley there. Kwanzaa has make the breakthrough this season. We've got Cade Gordon, Trent Condor. We've lots of good young players. The dude we signed from Leicester City as well. But we still need the here and nows because Klopp's contract's running down. And I've said this all along. I don't want to look back at Klopp's time at Liverpool and have some what-if moments. I want Klopp to have the tools to get the job done. And that involves winning. Craig, me and my dad love your content and always watch your streams. It would mean a lot to me if you wished him a happy birthday. His name is Mladen. I hope I've pronounced that incorrectly. If I haven't, my sincere apologies. But Pavo, thank you. so much to you and your dad, man. That means a lot to me that you guys enjoy what we do. Thank you for that. And of course, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope your dad has a fantastic birthday and gets spoiled rotten. And most importantly, I hope for us all, buddy, we get those 3 points tomorrow. So thank you for your super chat. And again, many happy returns to your dad. I live in York and all the Leeds fans rate the kid really highly. Look, if we're willing to pay 40 million JD, there must be something about the kid. Like, he must be as close to a guarantee. Because, you know, we know one thing about FSG and Liverpool is they don't just splash the cash. So there must be something about that kid that justifies such a hefty fee for somebody of such a young age. So there's no... I've just got this in from Mark. Thank you, Mark. He said there's no recall option on the Tyler Morton loan. Thoughts on Arne Slot? Is he the Feyenoord coach? The one that was linked with the Spurs job, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about him other than he's highly thought of in the Netherlands, and he was linked with the Spurs job. That's all I really know about the guy, if I'm thinking of the right fella. Who would your preferred DM be? I mean, there's preferred Jake and there's realistic. Preferred Camavinga, thank you very much. But that's not happening, obviously. That's just delusional for me. So Andre makes sense. You know, I don't know why if we wanted him in the summer and now he's available, we don't. It would just frustrate the hell out of me, buddy. So I think Andre at 35 million euro is a very fair fee. About 28, 29 million pound. That'll do for me. We miss Mane and Firmino for heavy metal football. Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. I sometimes... Do you know, when I think back, and I think of the times I enjoyed with Klopp, there's many, many moments to think back on. But that initial surge, that initial change of style to the Gegenpress and the Red Arrows, as I called them at the time, where you had Firmino, Mane, Salah, Lallana, Gini Wijnaldum. There were some crazy games back then, and we were the masters of chaos. If we beat City, what happens? Well, I become unbearable, firstly. If we go to the Etihad and beat Manchester City, I'm already starting to polish up the trophy for the league title. Yeah. I mean, it would make a big statement, but I don't see it happening. I don't. I think a draw is the most we can really hope for with the way, unless something changes or we catch them cold or something, because nobody can look at the way we played against Luton, the way we played against Toulouse and think we're going to go and beat City at the Etihad. It's not likely. Brian, again, thank you for, wow, an incredible super chat, mate. Love the top of the league conversation between you and Adam on VAR. Please subscribe, everybody. Great conversations. Thank you, my man. I find it so easy to do a stream, and that was the first one I've ever done with Adam. But I found it really easy, very natural, very easy to bounce back and forth off. He's a really nice dude, Adam, and do you know what? He knows his football. He does. He knows his football very much. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Brian. And I think top of the league's going to do well. I do. I think we've got a good mix. Am I hyped tomorrow that we can get second? Yeah, definitely. 100%. Like, didn't think we'd have the chance to close in on Spurs because I thought they were going to beat Wolves. Also, the Newcastle result is a bonus. And I can't say this clearly enough as well. I want us to maintain that at least 6-point advantage over Manchester United. Because right now they're within 3 of us, if my memory's right. And we got to get that win tomorrow against Brentford. It'll be a long 2 weeks if we don't win tomorrow. Craig, who do you think was our Captain Chaos in Liverpool 1.0? Firmino. I think Firmino made everything tick. He gave Mane and Salah the platform to find them spaces and do what they do. Or did, I should say. May said, don't think we get a DM in January now. When we target a player for a long time, we always screw it up. I mean, our recent history, mate, of that is you're probably right. We did get Van Dijk after a long courtship, if you want to say that. But what gets me about this, mate, is you think it would tick every button, right? Financially, very much up FSG's £30 million kind of sweet spot. Age-wise, 22, perfect. Profile, just won the Copa Libertadores. Has recently become a Brazil international. It ticks a lot of boxes. So it's a no-brainer to me. Like, nothing could have changed in how Andre has played to make Liverpool second guess. He hasn't had a poor run of form. He hasn't had any drama in his personal life I'm aware of. Like, there's no reason for Liverpool's stance to have changed on Andre that I can think of. Best case scenarios, Liverpool beat Brentford 4-0 and Chelsea beat Man City 3-0. Yes, please, on both. Please and thank you. Don't know what to expect tomorrow between Chelsea and City. Could be a very interesting game, that. No, Bellingham hasn't scored, mate. He's not playing in the game today for Real Madrid. I think he's injured, if I'm not mistaken. What else we got? Fabinho was the only trade we've done correct. I mean, I feel like that deal was fair. 40 million for Fabinho, I think, was fair. Did you see that Eletifact drew again 0-0 today? So it's not really going great for Mr. Gerrard and Mr. Henderson at that club. Endo isn't good enough to play for Liverpool. I don't think you'll find many of us at the minute who can really argue against that, mate. None of us like to go in on players. None of us take any pleasure out of saying that somebody isn't performing. But sometimes I just have to say, well, yeah, I can't really disagree with you on that one. Andre is only 5'8", which currently at odds with our recent signings. I prefer Thuram. Yeah, look, maybe we do revisit Kone or Thuram. I haven't really seen much talk of it in the media. I wouldn't be worried about his height, though. Like, I know we all like a big Rodri, Fabinho, like a big physical specimen in that role, and it doesn't hurt. But I wouldn't rule somebody out just on their height because, you know, N'Golo Kante, as I've said before, Javier Mascherano. There have been plenty of very, very, very good defensive midfielders who are of a smaller frame. George Edwards said, my favourite moment of Klopp was when we beat Barca 4-0. I was at the Cop for my 10th birthday. Oh my days, wow. George. Oh, what a night, man. What a night. What a way to spend your 10th birthday as well. I mean, well done, Mum and Dad, for that one anyway, for getting you in there for that. I'm sure that's a night you won't forget. Do you think Roku would have fit a Klopp style? I don't know who he is. I have no idea who that is, mate. I used to play DM, even though I was short. Good passer, though. Well, you want to get stuck into those wedges, mate. Don't forget, wedges, they're God's gift. That was one of my favourite comments yesterday, though. Well played. I still laughed about that even after the stream. Kante, to be fair, was supplemented with Matic in most games. He rarely played alone in the six. Well, look at him at Leicester. Makalele wasn't the biggest either. I'm sure there are more if I could just do a bit of research on it. But look, it's a factor. It is a factor. Like, you would prefer somebody who's 6'1" and built like a brick shit house, definitely. But I'm just saying I wouldn't rule him out because of it. Even look at Caicedo. You know, he's not the biggest of dudes either, is he? Even Enzo. What's Enzo? 5'11", 5'10", something like that. You know, he's not 6'3", 6'4" either. Oh, you meant Doku. Oh yeah, that's one that certainly looks like we missed out on, Arian. You know, we've been linked with Jeremy Doku since he was 17. Actually 16, I think. And, you know, Man City did it. Man City brought him in, and he certainly hit the ground running. That definitely is what I agree with you on. You know, for a player, again, we've been linked with for the longest time, when it came time to press the button or get the deal done, we didn't. So, I don't know if you guys seen, but earlier on I put up a video and I asked, Mohamed Salah sticker twist, what should Liverpool do? And I want to put this to a poll because I think that's the easiest way to get a fair reaction. So, Scotty, thank you, buddy, for your comment. Appreciate it. He goes, WFM to the best channel. You'll never walk alone, up the Reds. Member for 30 months, Scotty, a legend. Thank you, buddy. Hope all is well with your good self. Right, so I'm going to put this poll up now. But give me a minute to write it out because, you know, I'm not great with the old keyboard. So... okay, bear with me, folks. One more option. Right, there you go. 3 options on Mohamed Salah. And I tried to explain my thought processes as best I could in the video earlier on about this. So what should we do with Salah? 3 options there. New deal, sell for 100 million, or run down his contract and leave for free. Now, I'm aware that your instinct is going to be new deal. But think about this. What if he signs that new deal and in 9 months' time or a year's time, we start to see a tail off from Salah, or his numbers aren't quite the same, and we hear back then, no money to go out there and bring in another one. I think this is the biggest decision Jurgen Klopp and FSG have had to make since they've been at the club. And I'm on the side of selling for 100 million quid. I used to be, till very, 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 very recently, like I'm talking 2 days maybe, I was always new deal. But when I listened and, you know, I read out to you what Ian Graham said earlier on about his time at Liverpool and looking at the numbers behind a lot of the things and how FSG want value for money, I can't see that it's the best business decision to keep him, and then when he's 34, 35, we leave him for nothing. It just feels like... it feels like a nostalgic decision for me rather than the right business decision. But it's a horribly, horribly tough call. He's not that old. He's 31, heading for 32. If we gave him another deal, you're talking about probably extending it by at least 2 years, meaning he'd be 35 by the time he's done, and we'd lose him for free at that point. But you're also almost guaranteeing yourself, or being of the mindset, that those numbers are going to remain consistent over that time. So, and do you know what? I can't lie, with the potential availability for Salah or for Mbappe at the minute, and it is potential because I still have my doubts about Real Madrid walking away from Kylian Mbappe. I don't care what they're briefing. It doesn't make sense to me. But if he is, lads, okay, if we're sitting here and next summer and we've sold Salah and brought in Mbappe, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be pleased or it would annoy me. It wouldn't. 1 year extension with 100 million buyout clause. That's just fucking him over, though. You know? He'd know that we're only doing that to protect the value and get money from next year. And I don't know how much longer that Saudi offer of money will be there for Mo. Because nobody else has given us that money. Let's be honest about this. If it gets to next summer, I can't see anybody else in Europe giving us the money we'd want. So I think it would have to be Saudi or a considerably lower fee. Mbappe is a crybaby. You know him personally, Kai, do you? You speak to him on a regular basis about that? Is he? I don't know, man. He still seems to be scoring plenty of goals for me, and he's, 26 now? So right into his prime. PSG, they've moved away from that model though, mate. You know, PSG have said themselves that they're no longer going for the Galactico-esque style signings. They're looking to bring in younger, hungrier, mainly French players. So yeah, I know Mohamed Salah has a good relationship with the president of PSG, but I don't know if that will be the right move for them. And also, I don't know if that will be the right move for Mo, to be honest with you. Mbappe's only 24. I thought he was 25 heading for 26. So Mbappe's 24 heading for 25. Mbappe isn't a right winger. Why are you so fucking... Why are people so single-minded on Mbappe isn't this? Was Sadio Mane a left winger? No. When you've got the best players in the world, they can play anywhere, mate, across the front three. And there's nothing to say we can't shift the system around a little bit. It doesn't have to be we lose right wing, we buy right wing. We can shift players across. There's no law that says a wide player or an attacker has to be inverted. It's just a modern trend in football. So he's 25 in Christmas. Yeah, look, it's only because he's free that I'm banging this drum. Somebody has to sign Mbappe because I don't think he's going to extend to PSG. And if it's not Real Madrid, it has to be somebody. And sometimes it's about timing, as I keep saying. And it could be that time. It could not. But I still think, and I stand over, I think this is the biggest decision that FSG and Jurgen Klopp have had to make since they've both been at the club. And it does, look, if you say sell or whatever, it doesn't mean you haven't appreciated Mo. Like, nobody here in this conversation for 1 minute does not think Mohamed Salah is an icon, a legend, and a superstar. It's not what it's about. It's about timing. The right decision for a football club at the right moment. We've kept players too long before. Henderson is a prime example. That extension was probably not the right one to give. And it's happened occasionally with others as well. You look at the great managers over time. Your Sir Alex Ferguson's. They make those ruthless decisions when they feel a player is slightly, even so slightly, past their best. They ruthlessly move them on. And that's, in my mind, that's what separates the great managers. They're not afraid to make those tough calls if they think it's for the greater good. You know, I get it though. Like, it's Salah. It's so hard to even have the conversation about losing him because we're all really emotionally invested in it. Can't see us paying the wages. Oh, I've got a solution for the wages. Don't worry. I've said this before as well. So, if we take it as a truth that Mohamed Salah makes £1 million a week. Now, remember, it's not me saying this. It's not the Echo. It's not the Athletic. It's his representative that says he makes £1 million a week. So we got to take that at face value, right? So if Mo does indeed make £1 million a week, and I don't know if that's through image rights, bonuses, his basic wage, whatever. So if we take it for a second that Rami Abbasissa is telling the truth and Mohamed Salah is able to command £1 million a week somehow playing for Liverpool, then you sell Mo for 100 million and you bring Mbappe in on a 5-year deal. So you've got 20 million there roughly. Of course, there would be some stuff lost in that, but let's again talk round numbers. You've got 20 million a season for 5 seasons to pay Mbappe on top of the £1 million a week that Mo was able to generate. That's a lot of money. That's £1 million, £1.6 million a week you could afford to pay Mbappe. And then you have to talk about the shirt sales as an example. So we know Liverpool's deal with Nike is somewhat unusual. There's only a handful of clubs in world football that get the type of deals that Liverpool got with Nike, where we get 20% on top of a guaranteed minimum fee of, what was it, 35 million quid a season. It is possible, but only because there's no transfer fee. So the wages are doable. I suppose Nike will pay a portion of his wages. I don't know the answer to that, but I do want to pose this question. If you're Nike and you've got Kylian Mbappe as one of your athletes, and he currently plays at a Nike club in PSG, you're not really going to want to see him trotting around in a Real Madrid Adidas shirt every week. It's not great for Nike. So it would make more sense to keep him in the Nike family. And I don't know if Nike could do something, or Nike. See, I'm already going between Nike and Nike again. I don't know if they could do something, but I still say they'd prefer to see him in a Liverpool shirt than a Real Madrid shirt. Don't make me join the Mbappe train. Oh, Ryan, look, I hate myself, mate. I hate myself for trying to convince myself about this. Because there's a big part of the back of my brain going, shut up, you absolute twat. You know Liverpool aren't signing Mbappe. Don't even start this, Craig. But then there's another part of my brain that goes, FSG have been 6 years talking to Mbappe. And sometimes in life, it's right time, right place, right moment. And if there's a changing of the guard, and if Mohamed Salah does decide Saudi is the best fit for him, and Liverpool bring in a transfer fee, I don't know. It's doable. And it works. It works from an age bracket. It works from a global signature signing like that just pushes Liverpool stratospherically to a new audience around the world. Commercially, it would make a huge difference as well. And we know there's a soft spot in Mbappe's family for Liverpool. His mother, I believe, is a Liverpool fan, or certainly has a soft spot for Liverpool. Mbappe himself previously has spoke about playing Liverpool on FIFA with Klopp as manager. Again, if it isn't Real Madrid, it's got to be somebody. Look, you're probably right, AIR or Air. It most likely is a pipe dream. But there's something at the back of my mind that says, if John W. Henry truly tried to bring him to Liverpool when he was leaving Monaco, and you don't bring the kid on a flight, a private jet, for a conversation, if you've not got some serious investment ready for that. So if they tried that, and if our name has been consistently linked with him since, there has to be some of it that's based in reality. But again, I will say, if Madrid want him, he's a Madrid player. I don't think there's any debate about that in my head. I don't see us going head-to-head with Florentino Perez and Madrid for Kylian Mbappe. It has to be only if that Madrid thing is dead altogether. Then I think it becomes possible. He isn't a good counter-presser, but Klopp could change that aspect. So, I feel every team is, even a Klopp team, can afford one player who gets a little bit of good grace or a little bit of special treatment. You know, whether that was Coutinho back in the day, you know, where he didn't have a free role, but he was able to wander, to look for spaces. Imagine the counter-attack with Lucho on the left and Mbappe on the right and Darwin through the middle. Imagine the speed at which we could drag teams apart. It's an intriguing thought for me anyway. You've got me awfully excited. Look, I know we're not used to it. Liverpool don't sign Kylian Mbappe's. Liverpool don't sign Cristiano Ronaldo's. Liverpool don't sign Lionel Messi's. Liverpool didn't sign Jude Bellingham. But nobody can tell me that FSG don't look at this as an attractive proposition. I think they very much would. Why do Real Madrid all of a sudden not want Mbappe? It's a very good question. Could it be brinksmanship? Absolutely, Adam. Could it be because they've got Endrick coming in? Here's my theory on Real Madrid, right? if Real Madrid really don't want Mbappe, like if that's true, I asked myself why. And here's what I came up with. They're refreshing the age of their own team at the minute. They've got Endrick coming in. They've just signed Rodrigo to a new deal on that side. You've got Vinny Jr. on this side. You've got Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Jude Bellingham. So my gut tells me that Real Madrid are going to try and go for Musiala. That's why I think they may have walked away from Mbappe. I think Musiala and Bellingham with Camavinga behind them. Imagine that as a midfield rebuild, losing Kroos, Modric, and replacing them with Bellingham, Camavinga, and Jamal Musiala. That's kind of where my head's at. I can't join another train after Jude. I'm not trying to get you to join it. The Jude one was very realistic and we shit the bed. But this one's a hypothetical train for now. I'm definitely not trying to say to you, go out there and start saving your money for an Mbappe Liverpool shirt. Do you not think Jota should start? No. I think he's better coming off the bench. I think he's a super impact sub. So I think Salah, Diaz, Nunez for me through the middle. And Valverde, yes, Adam, I forgot about Valverde. So where do you fit Mbappe in there if you're Real Madrid? Because Endrick's coming in, that deal's done. Liverpool just don't get players like Mbappe. Again, I can't push back against that, dude. I've said that myself a few minutes ago. We don't do the closest thing we've ever signed to a superstar is probably Thiago. That's probably the closest I can remember. You know, we've signed players like Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, Mane that have turned into superstars, like your Luis Suarez, your Fernando Torres. But Thiago was the only real bona fide world-class superstar, I think, that we've gone for. And we did it because of the cheapness of the deal more than anything. I feel like I'm on another level of smoking when I say the name Mbappe. Look, it's understandable. What about Kubo? So that's another Real Madrid comment there about Kubo. I think Real Madrid buy him back, even if it's to sell him. Because why wouldn't you? If Real Madrid at the end of this summer or next summer have that option to trigger the release clause of Kubo for 30 million euro when his value is probably 60, to make money even you do it. You take him, you loan him out, and then you sell him at the end of that season. So I can't see how Real Madrid do not trigger that. It almost seems like free money to trigger that clause and sell Kubo if they don't want to keep him, and that will help them bring in some more cash. No, he's at Sociedad, David. He's at Sociedad. Madrid want Alphonso Davies as well. Well, they do need a fullback, Liam. Definitely need a fullback. That's been pretty high on Real Madrid's wish list for especially their fans. Because do you remember Real Madrid fans saying they don't want Bellingham? Do you remember some of them saying that? Because I do. Oh, we don't want Bellingham. We don't need a midfielder. We need a fullback. And look at now what Bellingham's doing. I think he shut them all up. Sociedad are on fire right now too. Yeah, they're having a great season. They are. They're having a very good season. I think they're looking good in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where they are currently in La Liga. I haven't kept an eye on the table today. No new signings for the next 5 years if Mbappe comes to us. See, I think we're looking at that wrong. Because financially, that deal is doable over the course of amortizing his deal in 5 years. So it cost Liverpool what? 1.5 million a week, maybe. And if you bring in a transfer fee for Mo, look, what do we need right now as a club? Let's just play devil's advocate for a minute and say Liverpool sign Mbappe. So we sell Salah, we sign Mbappe. Just bear with me for a second. So we've got Mbappe for another attacker. So we still have Mbappe, Darwin, Jota, Diaz, Nunes. No, sorry, Gakpo. So we've got our attack, that's sorted. We need a defensive midfielder, a full back, potentially, and a centre-back if Joel Matip leaves at the end of the season. So the club will know that anyway, so they'll have a centre-back in mind. The full-back, look, we need that. You could make an argument we need that now. And I hope common sense would dictate we should bring in a number 6 in January. So other than that, I think we don't need to do anything other than replacements. If we lose Kelleher, we need a replacement backup keeper. If we lose Costas, we need a replacement backup fullback on that side. But the rebuild, I think the rebuild's pretty much done. You've got your youth coming through. You've got your players in the 24, 25, 26 bracket for a bit of experience. You've got Van Dijk still at the back, Alisson, Trent coming into his own, Kanade maturing but still a young centre-back, Kwanzaa a young centre-back, Sepp van den Berg on loan still, let's see what happens there, Tyler Morton on loan, Calvin Ramsey on loan, Conor Bradley coming back from injury, Cade Gordon, Ben Doak, Trent Cone-Doherty, you know, and we haven't talked about the likes of Chambers, Scanlon, so we're not a million miles away. How do you feel about Alexis at 6 versus City? I think it'll have to happen, but I think we could be exploited by City. But I still don't see a better option. Unless he wants to maybe try Ryan Gravenberch in a 6 with Jones and Szoboszlai ahead, or yeah, I feel like we're almost nailed on to see McAllister in the 6 against City. Especially after you'd have had a rest for this game, international duty, then back in. I mean, maybe the international duty might throw a spanner in the works there. Maybe Klopp will look at how late some of those players come back from South America and maybe we get a bit of a surprise inclusion. We need a left back. You know, I think we do, David. I think we need one because of Robbo. Because of Robbo's out. But is there really an argument to be made for bringing in a left back until Robbo's back? I don't know. I think we'd have to sell Costas before that's a plausible conversation, and you won't sell Costas until Robbo's back. So I feel like that's a next summer scenario. Craig, why do you think the Brazilians aren't as skillful as they were back in the day? Because football's cyclical. Trends change. What attributes people look. The Brazilian league's a fairly physical league, if you look at it. Tactics are changing. The Fluminense manager has, is this chaotic system of, I can't even explain it, to be honest with you, but football just changes. You'll always have some Brazilian samba flair, but they're also very, very good, technically gifted footballers who will do well in any league. They're very versatile. Brazilian players, there's very few leagues you won't see successful Brazilian players in. We can always have these conversations like Italian players don't suit the Premier League too well or whatever, but Brazilians travel well. We just re-signed Tsimikas, club trusts him, or we just re-signed Tsimikas, protect transfer value. Can look at it one or two ways, mate. And do you really think the club trusts him? Like, really, hand on heart, do you think if Andy Robertson had a setback that kept him out for the rest of this season, that Jurgen Klopp will look at Kostas Tsimikas really and go, I've no questions there. I don't. Because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen Kostas. This is his chance. This is his chance right now. Robbo's out. He's got 10, 12 weeks where he knows the shirt's his to lose. And he's not winning it. He's not making sure that shirt's his. He was awful against Toulouse. Awful. He's not taking his chance. And that's up to him. What would you do if we got Mbappe? Get a signed shirt, probably the first thing, to be fair. I'd be immediately looking to get an Mbappe signed shirt. Can you please not put comments in so close to each other, mate? Because our mods will end up timing you out for spamming. You've put it in and then there's been 5 comments and you put the same one in again. I'm only saying it to you because I don't want you getting timed out. So, we've had nearly 700 votes in the Mohamed Salah poll. And I'm going to leave it up till the end of the stream, where I said, what should Liverpool do with Salah? A new deal, let him run down his contract and leave for free next year, or sell him for 100 million. It is very close. Noah said, hey Craig, I think it's a great idea to start Alexis as a 6 versus City. City played a technical way which could suit Alexis more. City aren't physical as other teams he struggled against. Well, Rodri says hi. He's certainly pretty physical. But I think we can't ignore the timing either, like I've said about the international break. Usually the South American players are some of the last ones back. So, and we've also seen that from the last 2 international breaks, Alexis just hasn't been it when he's come back. He just hasn't looked right. Understandable in the September international break, because I think he was playing at altitude in one of his games. Was it Bolivia or somewhere when he was playing with Argentina? So that's understandable for that one. The last one, he's not looked sharp after international breaks. Do I rate Rodri? Oh God, yes. Yeah. I'd say Rodri right now is the best defensive midfielder in the world. And he even has a few goals to his game as well. We need like for like for Egyptian king. There is no like for like. And to be fair, if we're talking numbers, I dare say if there's one person that can replicate Mo's goal scoring numbers, it is probably Mbappe. You know, I can't look at the likes of Kvaratskhelia, Rafa Leao, Nico Williams, Bakayoko, Florian Wirtz. I don't think anybody would do numbers the same as Mbappe would do with regards to scoring goals. So I think he is the closest you will ever get to replicating what Mo does numbers wise. Do you think Kimmich would leave Bayern? Yes and no. There seems to be a bit of instability at Bayern at the minute. Questions Kimmich is asking about the direction the team is going. There was an open letter penned by a Bayern fan and a journalist begging Jamal Musiala to stay at Bayern. There's that space that they need to fill with João Palhinha in January. Like, I think it would take a big offer for him to move. And it would have to be the right fit. Because apparently Joshua Kimmich is very, very big on consistency, very big on continuity. From what I've read, anyway, from journalists in Germany that, you know, have watched them for years. Did you guys see that Casemiro might be off to Saudi? That was something that I seen mentioned today, actually. Who would be your dream number 6 realistic signing? I'm sold on Andre, but I wouldn't be against a Kone as an example. If Liverpool did want to go down the more physically imposing route, or maybe a Kefren Thuram, but how much of a natural 6 is he? You can make the argument he's kind of in that 6-8 role. So I'd say Andre Kone are realistic. Decore, look, could be, but it would be a premium for the price. Palace would want, as we've seen in the summer, 60, 70 million probably to sell Decore. There's no way Camavinga's getting sold by Real Madrid, mate. Camavinga should be, he's top of all of our list of dream signings, probably in that position. Would you start a Football Manager or EAFC stream? More likely for me to do an EAFC one than a Football Manager one. It's a time thing. So if I had time, maybe, because a lot of people still ask me about the mini little series I did before, because apparently people like laughing at me for how crap I was, and that's understandable because I am crap. But it was fun. I did have some fun moments in it. But the gameplay itself is very infuriating because it feels scripted a lot of the time, like you're getting shafted on purpose. But there were some fun moments in it, alright, yeah. Richard, how are you? And you do you, mate. The chat flowing with people who make sense. Don't worry, mate. I don't know what that means, Richard. You mean I'm talking out my arse? It could very well be the case, mate. I'm a dreamer, Richard, definitely. Can you see any shock transfers in January? For us, no. Nothing that will surprise us. In general, there's always one, isn't there? There's always a surprise in January somewhere. Aren't you the Liverpool spokesperson on Football Manager? Yes, I am. Apparently. Which is still hilarious to this day. So, look, for those of you who play Football Manager, I will send screenshots of Liverpool FC fan spokesperson Craig Holden, but it's spelled Holden. My name is spelled Houl. But it is a very big coincidence if randomly some computer programmer somewhere just pulled the name Craig Holden out their backside for Liverpool FC clubs or fan spokesman. But I can't lie, I loved when I was sent that. It very, very much made me smile. Fabinho kind of did us dirty, accepting Saudi money more so than Henderson. I think that was just a good deal all around. We did have questions on Fabinho. Let's not look back at Fabinho's last season or two at Liverpool and think that he was prime Fabinho. He wasn't, and a lot of us, myself included, were frustrated at times. He looked like he was running through sticky toffee on occasion. So when an offer of 40 million came in, I've got to say I thought it was a fair deal, and I thought Liverpool did well to get 40 million. Now look, you can argue that we haven't reinvested it back in the right player, and that's fair. But the number and his form, I don't remember too many people being unhappy at that deal. Hope you and the family are well. Thank you, Ray, and right back to you, my friend. We're all good, buddy. We're all good, thank you. My daughter, I feel for my daughter. She's had a load of interviews for a little job. She hasn't been able to get one. She's feeling a bit down in the dumps. And I wish I could make it better for her. But yeah, she's really trying to find a job at the minute, and no joy so far, unfortunately, for her. So yeah, that one sucks because I don't like seeing my little girl unhappy. So I hope she can get a job at some point because, it's for her own self-esteem, and she's trying so hard, bless her. Liverpool year-long interest in Andre Trinidad makes it hard to believe they're walking away. His recent Copa Libertadores trophy should heighten our interest. I agree. It makes no sense to me that we'd walk away. Can she work for me? Well, one, we can't afford to take anybody else on, mate. At the minute, that's the truth. And two, I don't know what she does for us. There's no role for her in what we do. And she needs to stand on her own feet, She needs to make her own way in life. I can't just give her an easy out. You know, she's got to be her own person. And of course, I'm here to support her in that, and so is my wife. But yeah, there's definitely not enough cash flow in Anfield Agenda to justify another salary. What did you have in your num num box today? So we got a Rolo Blondie, and what was the other thing my wife got me today? I think it was a Kinder Bueno and Nutella cookie, I think. Social media. No, because she doesn't know anything about football. It wouldn't work. Social media wouldn't work. You know, she wouldn't know what to do with Liverpool social media. How's your Scouse accent? Not very good. No, I'm not an accent guy at all. Or an impressionist. Definitely not my cup of tea. I wish I could though. Jeez, I wish I could do accents, but I can't. Tell your daughter the job will come and stick at it. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. And I appreciate all of your kind words for her. Thank you. I'm sure I'll let her know that you guys are thinking of her. Can she be a young YouTuber? It's not her cup of tea. You know, she's not that type of character, to be fair. What's a Rolo Blondie? So blondies are like brownies, but blonde, like white brownies. And it has just Rolo caramel through it and Rolo on the top. Loving the content. Thank you, Noah. You're very kind. Right, look, guys, I'm going to go and spend some time with the missus. So I will hopefully see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the watch along. And don't forget, myself and Adam will then be jumping over onto top of the league for the Chelsea Manchester City game. So hope you guys can join us for that one as well. Have yourselves a cracking Saturday night wherever it is in the world you are. Thank you to everybody that sent super chats, memberships and comments. LFC USA, of course, as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you for your support. Do hit the like button. Only 200 likes now. Come on now. You're doing me dirty. Hit that like button before you guys head off. And the poll finished with 48% said they want Mohamed Salah to be sold for 100 million. 47% said that Mohamed Salah should get a new deal, and the remainder was let him run down his deal for free. So you can see there how close that is. 1%. It's going to be a tough call, as I said, it really is. Patricia, thanks from Boston. Hopefully I see you in Boston in March. That's the plan, Patricia. Hopefully we get over there for a show in March. Look, I'll talk to you soon.